Are you stuck? How about unhappy? Join Elena Chapman, author, mentor, and life coach for Magical Moments with Elena as she challenges you to get out of the doldrum and start living your life to the fullest. In just 60 minutes, Elena will help you take control of your life and push you to do the things you never thought you'd do. So get ready to take back your power and celebrate life with Magical Moments featuring Elena Chapman.
Hello and welcome to Magical Moments, and I'm your host, Elena Chapman. And it's that ease and that betterment in your life that we're looking for, and that getting rid of that stress. You know, who needs stress? No one. No one needs stress. When you start, now listen, folks, everybody feels a bit of stress. The only time you don't feel stress is if when you're home having your tea. Or you're home with your pets, okay? But everyone has stress. How do you handle it? And do you feel stress all the time? And do you bounce from one thing to another feeling more and more stress? That's when things become a problem. But everybody feels a little bit of stress. And those that know how to manage it, and those that know how to have that ease and betterment in their life because they listen to shows like this and they get the tools, then oh my gosh, they don't have a problem and they don't go into that adrenal fatigue, right? So today, instead of a magical nugget, but that was kind of a little one, I want to bring back Sheila Unique. She was a fabulous guest. And in our show, there was just not enough time to talk about some of the incredible things about relationships. Really, relationships are the mirror for us to see within ourselves. Wouldn't you say, Sheila?
I absolutely agree. They definitely give us feedback.
Oh my gosh, constantly, sometimes more than we really want. But it's true and but we should feel fortunate because sometimes we can get so busy in our minds, in our heads, and we would not take the time to learn about ourselves. And it's that learning about ourselves that evolves our soul. It's how we experience life that evolves the soul, the choices we make, who we become. So we should thank all those people that annoy the heck out of us, shouldn't we?
Well, I did that today once.
So did I.
I experienced exactly that, Elena. I experienced something and I went, thank you so much for them being in my life because they sure helped me see something about myself.
Yeah. And did you allow yourself to get just a little unhappy?
Oh my gosh, yes. Absolutely. Because when we learn things about ourselves, some things that we just don't even want to acknowledge that, like we said that, when we get to that place where we don't feel so good inside, that's a sign to me that there's some unrest about something.
Yeah.
And you bet it'll be like, thank you for bringing them into my life, for pushing all these buttons so that I can experience the healing that I just had.
What do you think about this new, I don't know, it's come upon in the last 5 years, I've really noticed it, where we are not supposed to feel anything negative. We are supposed to be positive, and that's, how do you feel about that? I don't want to prejudice your thoughts. I want to hear you.
What I very much hear you, how people are trying not to be negative.
Oh, and actually, not feeling anything negative, not to think anything negative, no negative. And what does that do?
When we're in that place, we try so hard to not be negative. That's going to pose a problem for us because all we're focused on is not being negative. We want to be in a place where we're neutral, and I use neutrality as just a starting point for it all. That we're okay if we're negative, we're okay if we're not negative, we're okay if we're positive, we're okay if we're not positive, because then that allows us to fluidly be where we need to be in that moment.
Yeah.
And if I may also add to that, Elena,
Yes.
it has been my experience that things that start out negative do not always stay negative. They can easily escalate to something positive and vice versa.
Love that. That's very true. It's all in how we deal with it. And that's the thing. I think when we choose to always be positive and our stomach is turning, because me, it's always my stomach and my shoulders start to ache. That's how that's my body functions telling me, oh my gosh, Elena, you are upset and you're pushing it down again, girl. Stop that. We're going to be noisy. And when you notice that but if you ignore it, let's go with the ignoring first. If you ignore it, you go into a state of denial. And that doesn't help you grow. It doesn't help the situation you're in. And it just grows worse and worse and worse. Am I right?
If I could add to that, Elena, it'll continue to surface until you deal with it.
Yeah.
So you can stuff it down and stuff it down and stuff it down. And that's usually when people get to a place where all of a sudden they have to blow about something. And the more, like you say, Elena, when it surfaces, the more we deal with it in the time of its surfacing, the less we're going to have that, because we are in a place where, okay, what's really going on here? This isn't about them anymore.
Isn't that, yeah, that's very true. And you start to learn. This morning I had my own, I call it my come to Jesus moment with myself. Because, no matter how evolved you are always learning. I mean, to think that everybody sits on a mountain with candles and humming all day. Oh my gosh, let's be real, folks. We have a life, And so technology is not my thing. And we have been having issues with technology. And all of a sudden I've been given, of all things on the face of this earth, the person who's not good with technology has to deal with all this technology. And I'm not handling it well. And I was getting really mad. I was getting mad at everything, everyone. Yeah, I just don't choose one person. I choose a whole. And so, but then I had to sit back and I had to sit there and I had to think to myself, okay, why are you just so angry? Well, because I'm not able to accomplish my goals I want to accomplish. That's one, that's viable. But two, because it strikes at a vulnerability in me that I can't make it happen. Aha! I just got a chance to learn.
You bet. That's real. That's so real, Elena.
Yeah. And that is what it's like, folks. I never like to use clients because that's privacy. But me, sure, I'm an open book. So this is what happened just this morning. And it's changed everything, because then I had to look at myself, folks, and say, well, why in the heck are you feeling that way? And that brought up whatever it was. That was, maybe it was an experience, maybe it was past failures, maybe it was whatever it was, because I don't want to limit it for you, but for me, it was a past experience. I had to deal with it. That's when your soul soars. And guess what? That lesson will never come back the same way again.
Do you know, Elena, you talk about love is spirit and spirit is love. That's a perfect example of your experience, that it came through this time through the whole technology thing.
Yeah.
Next time it comes through, oh, my stomach, my gut is aching so bad. Oh, I can't even, it's coming through the physical body. Then you have the next time where you can't stop the negative thoughts and they keep going on, and you just finally lose it. Then it's coming through the mental body. Then we have a place where energetically we're drained and we can't do anything. We're so overtired and we've had 4 cups of coffee already and it's still, and it's coming through the energetic body. That love is spirit that you talk so beautifully about is all coming through all our bodies.
Yeah.
And I even go as far as to say the spirit body is that, like, we're either at peace or we're at unrest.
Right.
Either there's conflict or there's where we're in a place where we're content with stuff. And so bang on. I just love that whole concept of the love is spirit and spirit is love.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's true. It's all of life. And if we start to see that these lessons that we're learning and if we see them as things that elevate our soul, then we understand that everything is happening for us from spirit to help us grow.
And if I could add to that, we never know how it's coming through.
Never.
We never know. And healing can show up in any form, in any way. And like you said, you got to this place where you recognize, that's affecting me. I don't know how I'm going to make this happen with the technology.
Yeah, exactly. And now I just trust that everything is going to work out in a way, once I voice my boundary and also what I really do want to achieve, then everything will come into fold. It will. I've done it before. I know it will. Mm-hmm. I want to bring up something else that I think is important because we don't always listen to this either. And that is red flags. Now, red flags can happen in that potential relationship. I remember one time I was driving and I said to my mom when she was alive, I said, hey, Mom, what do you think about this? And I listed this and she goes, Elena, that is a red flag. You should listen to that. Yeah, my mom was really good with that kind of stuff. She always made me laugh that way. But this thing with red flags happens in every part of our life, not just with relationships. Red flags when you're going for a career, red flags with your children, red flags. What are red flags, Sheila?
To me, red flags show up when we're reacting to something, where we're getting really upset about something, or we're in this place where we're getting frustrated because somebody isn't listening. Okay, it's a red flag, but it's not a red flag that says stop your reaction. Not at all. To me, a red flag is pay attention. Something is going on right now that's causing you to feel what you're feeling. And so it's about paying attention to what am I thinking about? What am I feeling inside? How is my physical body communicating with me? Those are all important things that can help us in that moment to pay attention. It's beautiful.
Yeah, real red flags are there for our growth. That's a really nice way to see that too, and it changes it because it doesn't mean stop the press. It doesn't mean that at all. It means, okay, I need to wake up and I need to see, why is this a red flag for me? Now, okay, so with a lot of listeners, they're listening to this. And some of them are thinking, well, my gosh, am I going to sit there and ask myself questions at every little move I make? Do you know what I mean? And I remember old movies when they first got into being with psychologists. I think it was 1960s and 1970s. You watch the movies and it goes, that's so nice, but how do you feel? That kind of philosophy. Mm-hmm. And so, but it's really not like that, is it, Sheila? I mean, I don't find it is for myself.
It's not at all like that. I love to approach the questioning of myself as like a little bit of detective work for me, because it's happening. I'm reacting for a reason. I don't even know how many times. I don't even know what that I'm reacting about. But something is all of a sudden there. And so I'm asking questions more from, hey, help me. Sheila, help me find out what's going on inside of Sheila. I'm not asking this so that I can fix the other person at all. I just want to know, because Elena, you know what it's like when you're reacting. It doesn't feel great. I don't want to be going day to day not feeling great.
No.
But I sure want to heal something, because I know for a fact that when we do, it impacts every one of our relationships. And I know that it changes how we think about somebody. It changes how we feel towards somebody. And it changes what's going on in our physical body, because our thoughts and our feelings cause our body to respond in a way. And that's where healing takes place.
Yeah. When you do ask why, like I did this morning, my shoulders went down, my stomach relaxed. I could breathe. Everything was relaxed again. I'm back into that place where I can then say, all right, so what do I want to do about this?
And you're more empowered to move forward, right? It wasn't, oh my gosh, I'm stuck with that. You just said, well, how am I going to move forward? It's beautiful.
I know. I think one of the worst feelings for anyone is that feeling of stuck, because stuck creates hopelessness.
Hopelessness doesn't feel good.
Hopelessness is the reason for depression. I mean, it's when you feel that stuckness. If we really look at it, folks, this is one way not to feel that. And it's one way for growth. And when we don't address ourselves, everything happens within us before it happens outside of us. Correct, Sheila?
That's bang on. And you use the word stuck, Elena. To me, when we're in that place, all we have to do is connect with what are we feeling? What is it that we're feeling? And the mind wants to take you off to say, well, we're feeling stuck. No big deal. No, get past what the mind is and go into the body and just be with that and just go, oh, okay, well, I'm feeling stuck. I feel my shoulders are kind of tight today. My stomach I'm not digesting properly. It's beautiful how we can guide ourselves in towards what's going on inside in a beautiful way, just like you shared.
Yeah, it is very, I think when we feel stuck, we're so used to feeling stuck. We don't even understand, but we've got to start asking the questions. And instead of making that feeling of stuck, which then creates, guys, the victimhood, you got to step out of the victimhood. And when you do that by just asking simple questions, then all of a sudden, like Sheila says, you start to get that relaxation. You start to be able to think clearer. Oh my gosh, you might even turn on music and start to sing. It changes your whole day while at the same time, you are evolving your emotional and human experience and your soul. Oh my gosh, it's a home run.
Beautiful. If I could add to that, Elena, the thing about it is in this moment right now, the healing takes place in this moment of our awareness, and we can recreate anything from the past, anything. And you know what that's like? You just have to think about Christmas dinner where everybody's together and you're still mad at your sibling. Well, in that moment when you're thinking about it, the energy in your body is already recreating it. And so you can access anything from the past in this moment.
In the moment that you are the master of your fate, not in the victim, guys.
You bet.
You can't skip the steps.
I agree.
Take that exploration. You do have to ask why. Mm-hmm. You do have to. So, but now let's be real about this. There are some relationships that, and I do want to bring this up because you'll find someone who is in a really bad relationship where it's just not good to be in, toxic, awful. Okay, guys, let's be real. That's a red flag that says it's time to go. You have to look at yourself and be honest. Can you speak a little bit about this? Because, some relationships are meant for us to learn and then leave, right?
Yeah. I very much agree with you, Elena. And some relationships, it's just about taking action and moving forward and moving on.
Yeah.
And that's different because if you're in an abusive, trauma-related relationship, you can't sit there and go, let me just see what's causing this. That's not even real. Okay. You got to take action and you got to act on it.
Yeah.
And then there's times in the relationship where we think we want to leave, and that's going to change everything. And our lives are going to be so much better because we're leaving.
Yeah.
When in fact, it means we really need to stay in that relationship to see what it is that we're learning, what is really bothering us, because we've got a partner who loves us and we think they don't love us. And so it's not always a cut and dried, but that's, Elena, where you talk about is up to us to know that. It's for us to experience whatever it is for us, bang on.
It is. It really is up. But I want to make sure that people understand if you are in a very narcissistic or toxic relationship or even physical abuse, um, really, and it's been going on, sometimes the way we're feeling has been altered, meaning we are not quite who we are meant to be. We have our self-esteem has been chopped and down. And so the best thing you can do, folks, is to have a really good source outside the marriage to talk to. Good friends, get your support team together. That support team is going to help you not only deal, but to leave. And I want to urge that. Don't try to fix a relationship when there's nothing you can fix. Okay? But that is for abuse, narcissism, and really bad problems. But for all the other of us, it is time to meet the soulmate, live with the soulmate, and learn and grow together. And that takes us being our best, filling our cup, right? And it takes us asking why.
I very much agree with that, because you, Elena, this is your whole journey, and you take you everywhere you go, 365 days, 24 hours a day. Yeah. And you're the master of your own life, and you will experience that. And so I really invite you to just be your brilliant self, because we'll know what that is within ourselves.
Yes. And when we are looking at this wonderful thing, I have one more question for you. You mentioned quite nicely that when we are in that state where we've asked why, we've learned the lesson within ourselves, and all of a sudden we are in this state where we say, well, what do I want? And then we are in that creative state. Could you talk a little bit more about that? Because I don't think people understand totally how we can go from total stuckness or total victimhood or total mad and anger to all of a sudden creating.
I love how you've put that, Elena. This is all about where we're coming from and how we approach it. So if we're upset about something, it's like we have this fog over our head, and that's all we have is this, it's called a reactive state, and you can't see through the fog.
Right.
When you heal and resolve that and get to this place where you're no longer reacting, it's like the fog lifts, and all of a sudden you can see with clarity. And that's when you have those questions like, okay, well, how am I going to move forward with this? How can I create this differently? What do I need to do? How can I support you in this? How can I move forward with this? And that's where action forward movement happens to me in a relationship. You talk about responsibility many times. It's my part in the relationship that, what am I responsible for? Well, I'm responsible for how I feel and what I do with that.
Yeah, it truly is something. It is a very, you bring up a lot of stuff, that fog, and it is like a fog. And you're in a total reacting. But if you lift the fog, and the questions are the key to lifting the fog and getting into responding. But when you do, you're totally right. And when you're in that responding, you can manifest anything. There's not just one answer. There are many roads you can take. And when you know that, then you can feel that freedom of choice. Correct?
That's beautiful, because every choice we make, you go down this road, you are going to be dealing with stuff. You go down this road, you're going to be dealing with stuff. Doesn't mean that one road is better than the other. It's just about movement and how we deal with stuff.
And how we want to deal with it. You're always on a journey. So how do people learn more about you?
I can be reached at relatefully.com. It's all about relating more fully with everyday experiences in your life.
Yeah, that is. And guys, it really is. The world is relationships. It is. So isn't it time for us to start noticing how those relationships are helping us learn about ourselves? And also, for those of you who are interested in soulmanifesto.com, and that's where I am the CEO and founder of this incredible, loving, and wonderful community of people. And join us. If you go to soulmanifesto.com, I have 2 programs that I'm giving away as gifts, and I would like to offer them for you. One of them is the 7-day reset. Oh, wow. If you are feeling that anger and your shoulders are tight and your stomach is all upset, 7-day reset is 7 days of short little meditations that you can do and get back into that centering. That's a cool program. And you get to see me every day, you lucky people. And then there is also the Soul Talks on Thursday night at 6, where we discuss these really cool concepts and further that ease and betterment in your life. All of that is at soulmanifesto.com. And I look forward to having you join our incredible community. All right, everyone. So, as you know, spirit is love. And so, as we say, that love is all about relationships. And as we grow in our awareness of ourselves, start evolving our soul, and even start to love ourselves, and that anger goes down, that's just more and more opportunity for spirit to enter our lives. And isn't that a cool place to be? That's where the magic happens. I've enjoyed, Sheila, so much. Thank you for joining us. And everyone out there, make it a wonderful week. Namaste.
This has been Magical Moments with Elena, featuring Elena Chapman. If you missed an episode, download it now on iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, CastBox, Deezer, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, or your favorite podcast platform. Learn more online at soulmanifesto.com.